And one of these days, we're just going to let that song play, and we're going to just vibe through the whole thing. That's a nice pick-me-up in the morning. Good morning. John Pineck with the Mohave Valley Daily News. I know Jeff loves it when I slam my hand on the desk here. This is the Daily Dose for Thursday, February 4th. What did we decide? Throwback Thursday?
Throwback Thursday.
Throwback Thursday. We have Taco Tuesday, or we're going to have to come up with something for Monday that's probably going to be vulgar, but... the Daily Dose is brought to you by the Tri-State Radiology Center in Fort Mohave, Arizona. Tri-State Radiology Center offers an open MRI, digital x-rays, professional and friendly staff with years of medical experience and commitment to quality for all patients. Tri-State Radiology Center offers some of the lowest self-pay options in the area, and they accept most insurances. At Tri-State Radiology Center, your image means the world to us. All right, let's dig in. Before I forget, in today's paper, we have this insert, Destination Wickenburg. If you've never experienced Wickenburg, go and check this thing out. There's a lot of really neat information about them. We've been up there a few times, and it's fun, especially if you're into cowboys. All right, our top story, a shot in the arm. This is kind of a combination story of the vaccination clinic held at the Anderson Auto Group Fieldhouse yesterday, put on by the good people from Safeway and Albertsons, as well as the big event that happened over at the Aquarius yesterday for the residents of Nevada, by the Nevada Health Department. So the vaccination clinic on our side down at the field house, it was 320 people. They They filled up those slots immediately, so they did all 320 yesterday. And the Aquarius side, they had booked all of the 1,000 appointments. We don't have a report whether they did them all or not. They have another 1,000 available for today. We had talked yesterday and the day before about how originally this information came out that it was for Laughlin residents only. That's not true. It's a federally funded program, so they're not able to lock them out. So if you are on the Bullhead side, I don't know if there's any appointments left yet for that, but you can go on to the Nevada Health Department site and reserve those shots anyway. So we got a picture there on the front page there about the somebody down at the field house getting theirs done. So our second story here is Bridgework. If you're not familiar with what's going on, Jeff's got a little video from it. You see on the paper there, we've got the QR code down in the bottom. You can go there and see the video, but we're going to show you some clips of it here. Workers with D.H. Ortega Construction used a 90-ton crane to place 2-foot bridges Wednesday north of the Laughlin Bridge. These footbridges will help link Arizona to the Colorado River Heritage Greenway Park and Trails. The project is known as the Arizona Heritage Trail, is still under construction. Once the project is complete, people could use the non-motorized trail system to move north on our side, north towards Davis Dam, travel west across the dam to meet the Colorado River Heritage Greenway Trail in Laughlin. The footbridge shown has been placed across a wash near the Davis Dam RV Park. The goal is to complete the work by the end of the year. So this will link the Davis Dam Park up with the Heritage Trail on the Laughlin side. So it'll be a pretty neat little walk once that's all done. Council approves additions to its legislative priority list. All right, stick with me. So what the legislative priority list is the council every year decides on the things that they are going to endorse on the state level. And there's some that on the federal level as well. We may come up with a list and say, hey, Congressman Gosar and Senator Sinema and Kelly, we would like you to vote for these things, or we would like you to vote against these things or fight against them or whatever. This is on the state level. Some of the things that they have decided that they're going to back is House Bill 2071, which would allocate funding, full funding of $22 million for the Highway 95 repavement from the Parkway down to Courtright in Mohave Valley. That's redoing all of 95 down there. House Bill 2077, which would provide $5 million for a variety of projects on bodies of water where gas-powered boats are allowed. There's a House Bill 2049, which has to do with eminent domain, and basically what it is they're trying to make it so that anybody that, any government, like we are doing with our EPCOR thing, claims eminent domain and takes over an entity, the bill would require that they have to assume all existing assets and contractual liabilities associated with it. The issue with that is twofold. One, we want to make sure that the eminent domain process that they're in the midst of right now with EPCOR doesn't get affected by that. And two, that it's not really fair if a company signs an agreement with, say, and the example in here is, say, a payroll company. They sign an agreement with this payroll company, then through eminent domain they lose the company, and the government now has to honor that contract and stick with them when really they could do it themselves. So they're going to be keeping an eye on that. There's a couple other ones. There's a bill sponsored by Regina Cobb that has to do with health insurance. There's one that Mark Clark, our vice mayor, is looking at when it comes to, not vice mayor, Mark Clark is looking at that has to do with water rights. It's nice to see them moving forward on protecting the water rights and not allowing some other things to go in. And another one is the vacation short-term rental properties. A couple years ago, four or 5 years ago, Governor Ducey signed a bill that takes the local inaction away from local governments, and so city government is able to regulate the short and long-term or the vacation and short-term rental properties here in town. It's handled by the state. They're trying to give that back to the local community, so I know the cities is in favor of that. We have about 300 in our area, which was surprising to me. On page 2, we have our Student Athlete of the Week. There you see her. That is Alyssa Heath. Alyssa is a junior at Mohave High School. She is leading her basketball team with 20 points per game. And last week she scored 28 in a win over Mingus Union, and she carries a 3.9 GPA. I know none of us are surprised to have a Heath as a Athlete of the Week with basketball season upon us. They are like the basketball royalty in this town. 2 ID'd as suspects in Maverick robbery. There is actually 3 total suspects. The first one is Matthew David Patrick. He was apprehended and arrested. They also have Anthony Robert Wortella, who is missing, and a third suspect, Anthony Dwayne Finley. So there was 2 separate incidents. The first was a robbery at the Maverick on the Parkway there at Desert Foothills. Stole merchandise. One stole merchandise while the other one dragged a female employee as she tried to get help, so assaulted her. They fled with hundreds of dollars of tobacco products, so quite the haul for them. And then after that, they, I guess, picked up Anthony Dwayne Finley and went and smashed the front glass window at the Minute Serve store on Baseline Road and stole cash from there. So the police is looking for your help in trying to find Wortella and Anthony Dwayne Finley. So go do your thing there. Biden tells Dems to go big on aid. So we're still talking about the finance package, the $1.9 trillion finance package. President Biden is working with is trying to work with Republicans and Democrats together to come up with a solution on this. He wants to hurry. I think it's funny to think that anything in the government is going to be hurried, but they're trying to hurry and get it passed. Some existing help is expiring in March, so they want to make sure that gets done before that. The sticking point on it seems to be the $1,400 for the stimulus package. the Republicans want it to only be $1,000, and they want to limit the income level to $50,000 per person or $100,000 for the household. According to this story, President Biden is considering changing the level. Right now, the Democrats are asking for $75,000. Republicans are at $50,000. It says that he'd be willing to adjust that a little bit, and that'd be one of the concessions that he's willing to make. It's kind of a test of that whole unity thing that he's been talking about, to see if he's going to be able to unite it. Honestly, right now, the Democrats could plow forward, and they've already introduced it as a budget resolution. They could plow forward, and as long as they get their 50 Democrats in the Senate to approve it, it's going to pass. But he's trying to get some of the Republicans on board, and by making some adjustments to it, he thinks that that's something that he can do. So stay tuned. We'll see. In the weather today, I hope you have everything buckled down, because it is going to get windy. Temperature-wise, we should be good. It should be in the high 60s. But it's supposed to get pretty windy today, some pretty big gusts, so patch everything down. I never do this, but today I was reading through Today in History, and on this date in 1789, electors chose George Washington to be the first president of the United States. So congratulations, George.
Now that's a throwback Thursday.
That is a throwback. Throw way back. In sports, had some interesting games last night. We talked yesterday about Malk boys undefeated going against Mohave High School boys winless, thinking, boy, this could get ugly fast. I talked to Jim, our sports editor, yesterday, and thought, I hope it's a good game anyway. Well, it was. You would think that it would have been one-sided. Instead, it ended up being 62-57. Lucas Leslie led Malk again. So Malk has 4 juniors and a sophomore on their starting 5. The sophomore is Lucas Leslie, led all scorers with 19. I think that's 2 games in a row for him. They shot out to an early lead. They shot out to a 12-0 run to start the game, and it looked like they had it in the bag, and Mohave came rolling back. Alex Cotter was key in that. I think Alex was the leader for them as well. Well, I don't see it right away, but I think Alex led the team. So they ended up coming down to the final few minutes. There was a couple of missed shots and a couple of made shots on Malk's side, which was the difference. But late in the game, it was a 1-basket difference between the two. So congratulations, Patriots, and really congratulations, Mohave, on a well-played game. Just came up just a little bit too short. On the ladies' side, it wasn't so close. The Mohave High School girls, we talked about Alyssa Heath before. She led their team again, and they beat Malk pretty good. We've got a clip from the game. If Jeff wants to bring that up, I will talk a little bit about it. So we've got the final score was 57-10. Mohave lost 57-10 to Malk. Alyssa Heath had 18 points, but really it was an all-around effort. There was Emily Tipton had some nice plays. Bella Bunch had some nice plays. There was just a lot of great effort up and down the roster. So they started out with a 15-0 run. It grew to a 25-point lead, and they just never looked back. So we also have the Mohave wrestling team had a pretty nice performance yesterday. They played against the Bulldogs of Barry Goldwater High School here in town, and it looks like they beat them 6-4. Some of the winners were Trevor Salahub, Brandon Clark, Angel Corona, Chase Davila Hartwick, Angelina Rediger, Aaliyah Pennington, and Brooklyn Johnson. So, congratulations, Mohave. Good work. And that is today's Daily Dose. Did you ever see this kids page that we have?
I did. I like that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. A little something for all the kids to do. So, go on out and get it and give your kids that are stuck at home something fun to do today. All right, everybody, thanks for joining us. Today's Daily Dose is brought to you by the Tri-State Radiology Center. Tri-State Radiology Center offers same or next day appointments, and they accept most insurances, including Medi-Cal. They have a wide-open MRI and offer digital x-rays with your reports ready in 24 hours. Call them today for an appointment at 928-460-7226. Real quick before we get out of here, yesterday I talked about the story in the paper about the young man, Bradley O'Connor, who is dealing with cancer. There was an outpouring. We had some people that contributed to his YouTube, his GoFundMe page. But a lot of people are upset at GoFundMe where they do not, GoFundMe takes a portion of it. So a lot of people won't use GoFundMe because of that. I want you to know that if you want to donate to them and you don't want to use GoFundMe or you don't know how or whatever, if you put his name on an envelope and my name, put any money that you want to donate in it or checks or whatever, and bring it down here and just let them know that it's for me, I will hand deliver them to the family. They really need your help and of course your prayers. So. All right, everybody. Thanks. I hope to see you here tomorrow. Do we have a label for Friday yet, Jeff?
TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. Yeah.
All right. We'll see you here for TGIF tomorrow. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Jeff.
See you tomorrow.